The Egyptian creation stories began with transformation. From limitless waters, a first mound emerged. From darkness came light. From solitude came relationship, conflict, birth, and order. But creation did not end there. For the ancient Egyptians, the world had to be renewed continuously. The sun disappeared into the unseen realm each evening and returned each morning. The Nile receded and rose. Crops died and grew again. Human beings lived, died, and prepared to cross into another state of existence. The Egyptian worlds were never static. Neither is ours. Money, ownership, creativity, and identity are moving into digital spaces. Cryptocurrency and blockchain promise new ways to exchange value, preserve records, and coordinate communities. Around that technology, new stories are forming. Some promise liberation, some promise abundance, others warn of collapse. Some help us understand the transformation, others may conceal its risks. As we close our Egyptian creation sequence, we ask, what can the transformations of ancient Egypt teach us about the digital worlds now being created? And is crypto creating myths of its own? Egyptian creation was not simply an event in a distant beginning. Every sunrise repeated it. During the night, the solar god traveled through the Duat, the dangerous realm beyond ordinary sight. At dawn, the sun returned and the ordered world began again. The details differed across Egypt. Different cities centered different gods and told creation differently. There was no single Egyptian account accepted everywhere in exactly the same form. But one idea remained powerful. Order was precious and never guaranteed. Ma'at represented truth, balance, justice, and right relationship. Its opposite was not merely untidiness, it was the breakdown of the relationships that allowed the cosmos and society to endure. Ma'at required participation. Gods maintained it. Kings claimed to defend it. Communities depended upon it. Individuals were expected to live within it. No modern network maintains itself through belief alone either. It requires rules, energy, agreement, verification, and human participation. A system may promise order. Its survival depends upon what people actually do. Egyptian transformation also included death. The deceased entered a world of gates, names, dangers, and judgments. Preparation mattered. Knowledge mattered. Conduct mattered. In one famous funerary image, the heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at. The scene asks whether a life remained in balance with truth and order. This was not blockchain accounting. The Egyptians were not imagining a decentralized computer network. But both worlds confront an enduring problem. How can identity, memory, and value cross from one state into another? Egyptians preserved names, bodies, images, and sacred texts because continuity mattered. To erase a name could threaten remembrance. To preserve it allowed identity to speak beyond death. We now ask similar questions in digital form. Who owns a digital creation? Can its origin be demonstrated? Can identity move between virtual communities? What happens to our records when a company disappears or a platform becomes obsolete? We have entered another kind of Duat, not a supernatural afterlife, but an uncertain passage between physical and digital worlds. Before blockchain, blocks. The pyramid offers an irresistible image. Before blockchain, there were blocks, millions of them, cut, moved, and ordered into monuments intended to resist time. But we should not force the comparison. A pyramid was not digital, distributed, or maintained by network consensus. The chambers of the Great Pyramid were not covered in funerary texts. The earliest known pyramid texts appeared later, beginning in the Pyramid of King Unas. Still, pyramid and blockchain reveal a shared human desire: preserve continuity. Stone protected a royal burial and monumental identity. Writing preserved names, rituals, and sacred knowledge. A blockchain uses cryptography and a distributed ledger to preserve a traceable history of transactions. Neither stone nor code guarantees truth. A monument can glorify power. A digital ledger can preserve deception as easily as honesty. The structure may protect the record. Human beings must still decide what deserves to be recorded. Crypto is not a religion, and cryptocurrency is not mythology in the ancient sense. But crypto culture is producing myths. There is a mysterious founder who appears, delivers a foundational text, and disappears, Satoshi Nakamoto. There is a fixed and powerful number, 21 million Bitcoin. There are miners, tokens, chains, burning, staking, and minting. There are prophets of a decentralized future, warnings of financial collapse, heroic founders, fallen empires, betrayals, resurrections, and communities awaiting the next great cycle. Even HODL has become more than a misspelling. It functions as a ritual declaration of endurance. These stories turn code, cryptography, and economic incentives into memorable human language. But myths can also hide complexity. A founder can be treated as infallible. Speculation can be presented as destiny. Technical language can become an initiation test. A rising price can be mistaken for moral validation. The Egyptian stories remind us that transformation always encounters disorder. The promise of a new world does not remove the need for judgment. This is where CrypTarot enters our story. CrypTarot is a modern reflection app combining tarot symbolism with cryptocurrency assets and narratives. Its deck contains 42 cards, 21 coin cards, and 21 narrative cards. That number creates a remarkable echo. In the Egyptian judgment tradition associated with the Hall of Two Truths, the deceased addresses 42 divine assessors. CrypTarot's cards do not descend from those Egyptian figures. The parallel is coincidental, and tarot developed thousands of years after pharaonic Egypt. But the coincidence gives us a useful mirror. The Egyptian assessors asked what a person had done. CrypTarot asks what hopes, fears, and stories we may be carrying into the digital economy. A card may represent Bitcoin, Ethereum, or another crypto asset. Another may represent decentralized finance, tokenized real-world assets, or digital ownership. The purpose is not guaranteed knowledge of tomorrow. It is to pause long enough to recognize the mythology influencing our decisions today. A CrypTarot reading begins with an intention. The user chooses a spread, draws symbolic cards, and receives an interpretation combining a tarot lens with crypto metaphors and market narratives. The structures include past, present, and future. A 4-card blockchain spread, a diamond, a moonshot, and a larger HODL pyramid. A final card may offer a reflective next step rather than a command. A reading may be saved, shared, or developed into a digital collectible where those features are available. Blockchain can help show when a digital artifact was created, which wallet held it, and how it moved. It cannot establish whether an interpretation is wise. It cannot guarantee that an asset will rise. It cannot replace research, financial judgment, or personal responsibility. CrypTarot is symbolic reflection, not financial advice, not a prediction engine, and not an ancient Egyptian practice. It offers a way to examine the emotional forces around crypto: hope, fear, scarcity, ambition, belonging, and the desire to participate in transformation. The first mound rose from water. The first block rose from earth. The first coin rose from code. Around each one, people gathered and told a story. They said, "Here is order. Here is value. Here is something that may outlive us." Yet water reclaims the shore. Stone forgets the hands that raised it, and code remembers only what it has been instructed to record. No ledger can weigh the heart. No token can measure wonder. No chain can tell us what we owe one another. Those questions remain with the living. Egyptian mythology imagined transformation across worlds, from primordial waters into creation, from daylight into the Duat, and from mortal life toward a changed form of existence. Crypto is transforming our world differently. It is changing how people imagine money, ownership, trust, creative work, and digital community. Whether that produces greater freedom, new concentrations of power, or both, will not be determined by technology alone. It will depend upon the order we build around it. The Egyptians called their ideal ma'at. We might call ours transparency, fairness, accountability, accessibility, and human dignity. The names differ. The responsibility remains. To explore the symbols and emerging myths of cryptocurrency, visit CrypTarot at www.cosmic-guidance.ca. Take the virtual tour or continue as a guest with limited access. Use it as a mirror. Question the story. Research the reality. Ancient Egypt asked how creation could survive its journey through darkness. Our digital world now asks, as value, creativity, and identity cross into new worlds, what must we protect? What must we release? And what must we become? I'm Miya. This has been OneStory, Crossing Worlds. Egypt, crypto, and the myths transforming us. Pull up a chair. You are always welcome at our fire.